All right, we're off on a Redline Rebuild retrieval. We're running to Virginia to grab a car.
Redline Rebuild race car retrieval road trip.
Right. We just met up with Tom at the Circle K here in Virginia, and we are heading over to Snowball's house, and I am slowly following him over here, the little construction, but yeah, so we're heading over to Snowball's house, gonna meet with him and his son and see what kind of cool projects he's got for us. Hopefully all is well. It's a beautiful sunny day here in the mountains, and it's gorgeous. It's gonna be a fun day. It's pretty cool following Tom's wagon here.
I want you to go back into the archives and look up Barn Find Hunter episode 44. It's when we visited a wonderful man in Virginia named Snowball Bishop, and he showed us his collection of Fords, and he had an old race car that we're going to go back and take a look at today. We're going to combine an episode or two of Barn Find Hunter and Redline Rebuilds, and hopefully have a real happy ending coming up in sometime this spring. Welcome to Snowballs.
Hi. We are here. Can't wait.
I'm going to start out by introducing you to Snowball Bishop and Jimmy Bishop, whose nickname is Snowflake, right?
That's what you say.
Okay. Well, that's
They don't call me Snowflake.
Your dad told me that. Anyway, that's the father and that's the son. I just want to let you know that. And we're sitting in a garage in front of a probably 37, 38 Ford Coupe in the background, an old race car. And what we've decided to do is come back down here with Davin Rakow, he's behind the camera right now, to rebuild this old stock car into a running, driving vehicle. So what I want to do is just talk to Snowball here for a minute tell us about the history of this car.
Well, on this old body right here, it was Lee Rankins and Glenn Jackson bought that thing and had old man Stanley to put a flathead engine in it. They built it for Ivanhoe Speedway, and they got Pee Wee Martin, one of the old greats, has been dead for a long time. Yeah. Old Pee Wee drove it. They said if you get Pee Wee to drive it, we're guaranteed to win the race up high. Whether they won it, I don't know. Well, they kept on running till they put Tom in it. That's Lee's brother. He turned it over, and that's what messed the top up a little bit on it. Well, they took the engine out of it and set it up there in the woods. Well, me and Ricky Joe, my boy of mine, I knew about it. So I said, I'd like to get that old body, the sheet metal, and put it on a new frame. And put all my stuff over in it, because we had enough stuff. I had the old Franklins, and I had a bunch of old Chrysler stuff left over, you know. So that was that. So me and Ricky Joe, before your mother passed, we decided to build a frame for it. And then I found an old 55 Chevrolet frame, took it out under the body, and we just took pictures of it. We went to building that thing, and till we got it up where it was at now. And my health, I didn't feel like doing nothing much no more. So I was wanting to get the old car back just to show it, take it to the races, and put it on the trailer just as car shows or something, you know. Get the old engine running. We never did get around doing it.
So, Jimmy, did you help your dad build this back in the day?
Well, you know, that was at the time, of course, Pat and I, we had a family going on. Rick was more, I guess at that time, he was more available. Rick was, so he was helping down here a lot more than I was at that time. And I guess that him and Rick kind of got that thing going and got it started. And you know, you do a lot of things to start with pretty quickly, but then as you get to a certain point, I guess
Things get hard, yeah.
It gets harder.
So how long do you figure this car's been kind of just sitting idle?
It had to be back in the late 50s, probably early 60s.
It was in the early 60s.
Probably early 60s.
Okay.
Is when the car was actually, you know, they put it over in the woods.
So we're going to combine two different programs that you watch on Hagerty YouTube, and it's Barn Find Hunter, and it's also Redline Rebuild. And you know that series, and its host, Davin Rakow, and magically he's going to appear in front of the camera.
Come on in here.
You have a mic on?
I do.
Perfect.
I do, and I found this stool over in the corner. It's going to suit me nice.
Now the cat's, you know, kind of getting sick.
Yeah.
Don't block the cat.
He'll just
No.
do his thing.
Seems pretty relaxed right here.
So you know, Davin is going to do the mechanical restoration of this car, and so he's able to talk that vocabulary better than I can. So maybe you want to ask these guys about what you're dealing with.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to start here, though. Tom, we've talked about doing a combination deal for quite a while with the Barn Find Hunter and the Redline Rebuild, and this is perfect for me because I ran what we recalled Michigan Modified, which turned into UMP Modified race cars up there since 2000. So
You tried a little bit on the back end to the spring. And
oh yeah, sliding the
Was
springs
dirt
around.
tracks or
Dirt track, 3/8
I tried a
dirt
little bit of
track.
everything too, you know, back in the day.
Asphalt's for getting there.
We'd go to the racetrack. The first thing I'd do, I'd start looking at the car, run around the back, see what kind of new stuff it had on. I said, I believe I'll go back home and build me something like that.
You know what? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
We always used to joke that, you know, if whoever won the week before, if they drugged 14 beer cans behind their car, every other car behind them would be dragging 15 the next week.
That's exactly right. Yeah, who had the best idea, you know?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So as I remember, you started off with a flatheads,
Yeah.
and then you didn't want to race a small block Chevy because everybody else was running them, right? So tell me about that. You raced flatheads, and you were beating the Chevys, and then they started to beat you.
Well, the first flathead, I built the first flathead myself, just standards, you know. I'd take it down, didn't know much about doing nothing to it, you know. Didn't know what a cam was then to get to buy a cam, you know. Do everything we could to them and put get us some kind of gear on the back. An old banjo head, you know what I'm talking about. Yep. Didn't have no quick changes then. So I went ahead and done that, and finally I asked George, old Hope, I said, I need to buy, you ain't got no short block or no engine I could buy off of you, have you? That I could put in my old car with a good set of heads on it. He said, I've got all kinds of heads here. He had some of them old field heads that Stanley had fixed, and he had some Canadian old flat heads. They look pretty good, you know. I bought an old 3 3/8 off of him on 4 1/8 inch stroke with an SC cam in it. But I run them old flatheads till you couldn't run them. You didn't have nothing else to run. But I mean, the Chevrolets was coming out then with the 327s, you know, and I'd run that little old 365 and getting everything you could out of it. Like I was telling Steve, I said, I'm going to have to do something. So I finally went down Charlotte. Old Earl Hatcher from down Mount Airy. He said, Snowball, he said, you can buy one of them 312 engines off of Home and Moody down there at old Curtis Turner. It's an experimental engine. He said, it's down, but it's been run 100 laps. It's an experimental engine. I said, what can you buy that thing for? He said, I can buy it for $800. I said, yeah. $800 was like a gold mine then, you know. I said, well, I'll come back and talked it over with Daddy. He said, let's just go buy that engine. I said, okay. Earl said he'd put it back together for me because he was working for him, you know. So he said, you better take it down and change your rods after about 10 races. I was running so good and winning races, and the whole year I didn't want to even stop, you know. But one night I went down, it chopped itself all to pieces.
Oh, man.
I took it all back down to Charlotte. He said, I told you, how many races did you run that engine? I said, I had 16 races. He said, I told you not to run that thing over 8 or 10 races and change the rod. He said, it's going to cost you some money. I said, well, I got to have it. I had to have a block and Kim shave. I had to have a bunch of good stuff. Fix the heads and everything, you know, valves. Woo-wee. But I didn't take no more chance on that.
Tell us the story about going to Richard's shop. I love that story.
Well,
This is Richard Petty, by the way.
at the time that I found out, seemed like to me, through the Frasers, I ain't mistaken, was telling me about Richard was going to the Hemis, you know, running the Hemi engine. Said he had a lot of 420 stuff, that 426 stuff he could go sell. Well, poor boy didn't have very much money, you know, so I said, well, let's go down and look, see what the guy's got. Well, we loaded up one day and went down there,
Randall.
Yeah.
Randleman.
Anyway, I went back off the road there down to an old farmhouse. I had an old garage shop behind there, an old big oak tree sat there, you know, and run. I said, I want to visit where that fellow lives. Found out it was old man Lee, you know. He was sitting out there, and I told him who I was, and heard that you had some stuff you want to sell. He said, I don't know. He said, you holler for Richard. He said, this boy here wanting to buy some stuff. He said, you got any 426 stuff you want to sell? That's over in the corner. Had a whole corner full of stuff, you know, motors and stuff. He said, yeah, Dad, I'm going to get rid of all that. Well, whoever was always with us, I don't know who was with us now. I said, what do you want for it? And that's when he said, well, Richard said, Daddy, it ought to be worth $1,000, you know. Gosh, $1,000, you know. Anyway, I said, I'd like to have it, but I said, would you take any cheaper? You know, I could give me some money to get back home on. I said, I'm going to waste my home. Seemed like I gave him $900 for it. But it was a lot of good stuff. I run the heck out of that stuff, you know, them is. I run it all till I could run out of the block, and I had to go to the 440 block. Wow. And it was 700 thousandths bigger bore than the 426 was, you know. Yep. But anyway, I put all that 426, the heads and everything on that 440 block, you know, same thing, just a little bigger. And they run good too. But you know, I never did have to bow them. Never did have to bow those engines and use the good stock pistons on them, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this engine you bought as a racing engine?
This engine right here, it's a 440. So like I told Steve, I've never heard it run. I was aiming to take a change on it, on change the pan on it, and I wanted them boys to detail it out and paint it Chrysler orange for me, but never did get around doing it.
Well, we were in the process of doing that when you called. Yeah.
It's strange how things work out.
Yeah,
huh?
because we had pressure washed the engine, you know, we kind of got everyone cleaned up. We were actually
If
going to paint it and doing all that.
If I'd have been at myself, I'd have had the thing finished, painted. I'd have had it sitting in the car. You could have cranked it up and moved it around. I was intention to just take it up to the racetrack on the trailer, show it every time, just like you do these old cars here, you know.
Yeah.
So what do you think you're going to do? You're going to bring it back to Traverse City?
We'll get this back up there. We'll pull it completely down, and
That's what I would do.
Yeah, we'll go all the way through it. And we'll turn it from that kind of nasty color blue into a nice orange. It'll look a lot better orange.
Well, you better, man. Some of the color what it is now.
So you want to take a look at this car here, up close and personal?
Heck yeah.
Would you give us a tour? Give Davin a tour around this?
Yeah, please.
Well, Davin, we got a lot of rusty metal here for sure. And, I would like to, or what we would planned on doing is just, putting some paint on something, putting a motor in something and, getting it running and trying to, try to put a smile on his face.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, we knew it was a lot of work involved for a small little shop like we got. But, we were going to just kind of,
Looks good, though. I like
put
it.
things together, as they come, get a motor in there, kind of get it running. And, we got the tires and wheels and put a paint job on it and
Right.
put some numbers on it and kind of make it look like a race car.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. No, I tell you what, it's interesting that I think it's interesting that it's wide 5. I mean, the big wide 5 rims, which meaning that they're spread way out. But being the Buick big drums, we're gonna have to replace these tires, or they ain't gonna make very good.
Yeah.
These babies are
right.
hard.
They've been out in the weather for a
Yeah,
little
they
while.
have,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. I'm surprised they even hold the air.
Yeah, that is impressive, actually.
But
So it's all lightweight here. She's stripped out, skinned. Well, you got a fuel cell in her. That's any good. Quick change rear end.
right, old Franklin.
Nice.
An old Franklin there. That's it.
Old Franklin.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Axles in it.
We've got 2 axles that'll actually go.
Okay.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, good, okay.
Sure.
All right. And then the brakes aren't gutted, right? There's cylinders and everything in there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Everything's we.
Okay.
But I like I say, Dad. He knows more about these things than me. Like I say, I was the oldest son, but I never, like I say, some things.
Right.
Some things got, when raising a family and stuff, we kind of went the other way. But now, we just wanted to kind of build something or try to get something here that he started.
Yep.
And maybe just put a motor and, like I say, get some numbers on it and just kind of make it look like it did in those days when he was running. So,
No, right.
yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, we got the trailers out front. As long as you don't mind, Snowball doesn't mind. We're gonna load this up and
Hey, that sounds like a plan.
yeah, get the motor in there and everything. Get the car in the trailer. Hopefully, it's not too wide for that trailer. Even if we had to go in backwards, Tom.
I mean, it's 77 inches.
77. Okay.
Oh, it should be fine.
Think so? So I brought.
Good and snug.
Well, listen, thanks for having us, and we will see you again soon.
I'm glad y'all all had to come. Yeah, but we've been looking forward to it, brother.
It's a great day.
And it's good to meet you
Pleasure to
today.
meet you. Yes.
Take care of yourself.
Well, welcome to Virginia. Welcome to my part of the country.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You got
It's
your work cut
fantastic.
out for you now, don't you?
It'll be fun work though.
Well, I was thinking maybe I could come up this winter and help you with it for a while.
Like, how about from January to the end of February?
Well,
There's lots of time to work. The heat will be on.
Yeah, we'll
know.
look into it.
All right.
It's a pleasure, man. It's going to
Hey,
be a blast.
thank you
doing this
very much.
project. Yep.
It
thank
will
you.
be very fun. A lot
Happy
of fun.
hunting.
Be safe.
Yep. Thanks.
Uh-oh. All right, time to head north. We got our race car to go fix.